Hello everybody! Yes, I'm making this a series now because I had a lot of fun with the other one and I got a pretty good amount of views considering the size of my channel, so I would try to get some views and be entertaining. Or at least do one of those two things, or fail at both. We'll see which one is which. So, for the Whatever Happened To series, I will choose a certain type of interesting through line and timeline of, I don't know, productions of whatever I find interesting, and try to find the most interesting tidbits and tell you in some way that is somewhat resembling coherent. Now, for today, we're talking about whatever happened to Avatar, as in whatever did James Cameron do when he made $2 billion and then proceeded to do fuck all with the franchise. And you will notice there is a through line in this video, which is James Cameron is a weird old man with a blue tall people fetish. Or sorry, I mean a vision for tall blue furry people to be real. A vision for 4 sequels to Avatar nobody is asking for. Yeah, that's the one. That's definitely the one. So, with my research, I provided lots of quotes and a beautiful timeline. And also a nice Word document that shows what the first thing was that I found. Now, in my research, the first thing that I found was the Pandora Research Foundation website. This is one of those weird websites that pretends that their fantasy world is actually real and tries to interact with you like a hip, cool kid trying to get you into the world that you were into because the movie wasn't that interesting. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But this one was especially interesting, let's say, because it was a bit too adamant about how much better Pandora was to the real world. The PRF is committed to promoting and carrying out the study of the geology, flora, fauna, and indigenous cultures of Pandora. It celebrates all aspects of Pandora and seeks to educate and inspire humans to connect with Pandora through scientific inquiry, research, and direct engagement. That sounds like somebody is trying to have you leave your family, donate all your earthly possessions to this fictitious foundation, and just drink the Kool-Aid. Here's another fun quote.
Humanity is at a crossroads, but knowledge will save us. In the search for hope, we're all explorers.
They have to know that this quote is a little bit interesting sounding because it doesn't sound very good. So, going into the timeline of 2006, we see that James Cameron is already very dedicated for his Avatar world, saying that if the first movie makes any money, he will definitely be making a sequel. And the first movie definitely made quite a bit of cash, a little bit of change, you might say, just, a little bit of that green. And even before that, James Cameron was already very devoted for the Avatar universe, having an 80-page treatment ready by 1994, where, he didn't think was ready for his vision yet because the pesky technology of the 90s couldn't keep up with his dreams, his visions, his OCs, let's say. The earliest date I could find of the glint of tall blue people being in James Cameron's eyes was in 1977 and 1976. Being his first script. Here's his quote from the script where he just describes these blue people as a native population that was 12 feet tall and blue and gorgeous. Moving on. So in 2010, after Avatar made a gazillion dollars in just everywhere in the world, James Cameron was just given the green light to do literally whatever he wanted with anything, and he says there will be a sequel of Avatar coming out in 2014. Yeah, right. I don't think so. One of the reasons why it was taking him so long to get started in these sequels was that he was writing a novel, which I found was a bit weird because this was, came up when somebody asked him how it was going working on the script and making of the movie. And for no reason, he brings up his novel. And one of the things that was making him very dedicated for this novel sounded like somebody was just a bit too in their own OCs. I wanted to do something that was a legitimate novel, that was inside the characters' heads and didn't have the wrong culture stuff, the wrong language stuff, all that. This sounds like a post of somebody that argues about the colors of Sonic's feet. They're blue, by the way. Whoa! They're very blue. They're much bluer than you would expect. Also, around this time, in 2010, we go from one sequel not being enough to satisfy James Cameron's thirst for his dreams, let's say, where he decides one is not enough. No, I must have 4 of these goddamn things. In 2010, again, Avatar makes $2 billion. Cool. Nobody cares. Once he decides that he's making another one, he changes his mind. Now he's making 2 of these, and he just tells people that he'll be making them at the same time. Also, for some reason, he wanted to have footage being filmed at the Mariana Trench. You know, just the deepest underwater trench known to man. He just wanted to take some submarines, some people in the crew that signed some waiver saying, if I die, I die. James Cameron wants blue people deep into the ocean. He keeps telling me they're real. They're deep in there. He keeps saying that. He tells me not to talk to my family and drink the Kool-Aid. I don't know why he keeps saying that. It's very strange. I'm very worried. But hey, it's okay because later on with the footage that he gets underwater, a VFX team will come along and change most of the footage to look like something completely different, making the whole venture completely necessary, of course. Also, James Cameron wanted to film motion capture footage underwater. Again, something people can do with VFX and not have, actors wearing rubber underwater. Again, a very necessary venture. But at this point, Fox was just letting James Cameron do whatever the fuck he wanted because he was their new golden goose. He made so much money, he can do whatever he wants. They just let him change his mind from 1 sequel to 2 or 3 in 7 days. Now, in 2011, James Cameron states that he wants to be filming the movie at a higher frame rate than 24 frames per second because he thinks those frames are not enough. He has to have a heightened sense of reality. He has to feel like he can touch those blue people nicely enough that his hand feels moist and it has a small blue tinge once he looks at it. And the thing is, we all know that these films that keep trying to have footage that is shot at over 24 frames per second, they all look great. They don't look like nightmarish creatures coming out of the dark, coming to catch you and eat your toes. It's okay, Gemini Man is not real, it can't hurt you. And in 2012, we have James Cameron finally losing himself to his nonsensical world of Avatar, basically straight up coming out and saying to refuse to do anything that doesn't involve 12 feet tall, furry blue people. I am not interested in developing anything. I'm in the Avatar business. Period. That's it. On that note, in 2013, James Cameron states there will be a 3rd sequel. You can't stop me. I'm your new god, Fox. You can't stop me. There's never enough blue people in your house. And I don't mean that by a DVD on your TV. No, I'm making them real. I have genetic experiments. Nobody can stop me. The law is not enough. Blue people are coming and you can't stop me. Also, around this time, there are a lot of delays, disconfirmations, and confirmations of the sequels and planned dates to come. So many changes, in fact, that I can't even say it out loud without creating a small migraine in my brain that makes me want to scream. So instead, here's a screenshot of Wikipedia trying their best. As you can see, there's a lot of things happening. I've read this 4 times. I don't know what it's trying to say. I just know it sounds like a mess. Now, in 2015, people find out that James Cameron didn't even have a shooting script ready to be shown to Fox. A reminder, the first movie was already supposed to be out the year prior. If I am a shareholder, I'm very worried. I would just leave. I'm just gonna run away. I don't want to be around James anymore. He keeps bringing out these blue people. He keeps telling me they're real. I don't know what to do. Please help me. He's wasting all of our money. I don't know what to do. Now, one of the reasons why it was taking him so long to get a script ready was the fact that, it took him 4 years to write the goddamn things. And I don't know if I'm starting to sound a little bit insane, but that's because I spent too much time in James's brain. So, what happened was, he got a bunch of writers to help him write 3 scripts in 6 weeks in 2014. By the way, that's a really short period of time to write 3 fucking scripts. That sounds hellish. And if that doesn't sound bad enough, he didn't tell the writers which of the sequels they were working on, because the man is insane. He doesn't care. How are they supposed to write a 4-part plan not knowing which part they're talking about? By the way, the reason that he gives for doing this is not much better. If I assigned them their scripts ahead of time, they would tune out every time we were talking about the other movie. Very classy move, James. Just gaslight your writers and, don't let them do what they're doing because you have so little faith in their professionalism and your 4-part epic that you can't think in your head that they will pay attention if you don't lie to them. Very nice. By the way, in 2015, there's also a lot of interviews happening with James Cameron's, and the more he talked, the more distracted he seemed. His brain seemed to be in 4 different places at once. We're not just going to do one and then make up another one and another one after that. And parallel with that, we're doing all the design. So we've designed all the creatures and the environments. I don't know. I don't understand what he's trying to say. I kinda understand that he's trying to say that he has a plan, but it doesn't sound like it. What it started to sound like it to me was that James Cameron wanted to start a cult. Like the Pandora Research Foundation website, or whatever it was called, was already weird enough, but some of the things he said didn't help me not think that he wanted to start a cult. I think that was the right amount of knots. So, there's nothing I need to say as an artist about the state of the world and human affairs that I can't do through the lens of the Avatar universe. I believe in the stories I'm telling more and more. I believe that, James. I am certain you're starting to believe those stories more and more. It sounds like your head is somewhere else, you might say. Oh, by the way, did you know that James Cameron got inspired by his mom's dreams for the look of the Avatar people? My mother said, I had this dream about a 12-foot tall blue woman, and I thought, that's kind of a cool image. Did you know that? Did you? I didn't. Why is this real? This doesn't sound real. This doesn't sound like it shouldn't be real. But hey, I guess it's in the family. The fetish, I mean. In 2016, another thing that doesn't make any sense, it shouldn't be real, is that the idea was floating around that James Cameron wanted to have glass-free 3D experiences for the sequels to come. But then he later denied that, saying that glass-free 3D technology wasn't ready yet for people to enjoy the movie. He doesn't deny the fact that glass-free 3D is a stupid idea. He just says it's not enough technology. Not because it's a nonsensical idea that doesn't make any sense. If you want a glass-free 3D experience, you can go to a play. You can go outside. You can touch anything in the material world. They're real, James. They're 3D. Notice, no glasses. It's like fucking magic, I know. After 2016, we have 2017, with the movie finally starting to shoot something, and I guess he finally figured out to have people underwater wearing heavy-ass clothes to have some sort of motion capture. I'm sure the actors were more than happy to almost drown every day. I'm sure that was a super pleasing experience for everybody involved. And in 2018, we start the live action footage shoot, much to James Cameron's distaste, because, you know, he hates humans because they're not tall, they're not blue, they're not furries. So that's not cool. The estimated budget for all 4 sequels is a measly $1 billion. They just threw $1 billion at James Cameron's feet after 7 years of showing no progress whatsoever for a franchise slowly fading away from people's memories. Just a regular Monday for James. Now, we're finally in 2020 and 2019. The reason why I have these 2 years together is the 2 bits of news that I found that were unrelated to James Cameron's weird drive to make his fetish real to push the movie back a little bit. So let's start with 2020. So, like everybody knows what's gonna happen right now. Yes, the virus plaguing the nation that cannot be named in YouTube for the reason that they will bury your video for some reason. Something I might look into. Very odd. But yes, the Canteen makes basically every movie not out right now in the making of this video be pushed forward. The next Avatar might come out when you're dead, which is fine. You missed out. You're lucky. It's fine. Also, in 2019, now we're getting a little bit more into interesting bits of news, where Disney buys Fox, which owned Avatar, so now Disney owns Avatar. Does it feel like they're cornering the market yet? Probably, right? Also, the reason why they moved the dates for the release is not at all trying to control competition. Nah, we're not borrowing entrants. Nah, man, that's impossible. We're just making very careful plans to release Avatar movies every time we don't have a Star Wars movie ready. So we're just gonna control every time we release them to crush indie companies into the dirt for refusing to belong, to refuse to be one of us. 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 Sorry. Something entered my brain. I don't know what that was. Even though Disney owns everything. Oh, still going? Oh, wow. Still going. Yep, that's definitely not a monopoly. It's, don't look, move, keep moving. Don't look back. They might look at you. You don't want them looking at you. Don't look at the mouse in the eye. Don't look at him in the eye. He'll look at you and you'll be purchased and destroyed. And with 2 years yet to come for this movie to come out, I say 2 years lyingly because I know it will not be 2 years. It will most likely be more than that because I'm sure James Cameron will think of something new to just make something up to get more money from Disney so he can go underwater and avoid humans forever and maybe find a seer folk that, hey, they're kind of blue, you can bang that, that's fine. A glowfish? Now, unfortunately, that's all of the interesting bits of news I could talk about. Sure, there was something to do in New Zealand. Who cares? That's just text related. That doesn't matter. What I'm gonna be keeping my eye on is for the next thing James Cameron will have to do for his fetish to become real. Because I will keep a close eye to you, James. Because I, like you, am in the Avatar business. Now, by the way, people, this is the end of whatever happened to the Avatar franchise. But if you have similar weird stories or weird creators having to do a lot of nonsense behind the scenes, let me know because I'm having a lot of fun making these and I would love to see other messes like this one. Because don't get me wrong, this is a mess. They spent way over $1 billion in this and they'll keep tanking money until this thing is out and makes a disappointing box office release. Oh well.